At 0347 hours, 38 miles southwest of Bandar Abbas, an Iranian Khalij Fars ballistic missile battery painted USS Paul Hamilton with its Ashtari fire control radar. 14 missiles sat loaded in their canisters, each carrying a 650 F-35A stealth fighters, EA-18G Growler electronic warfare jets, and F-15E Strike Eagles. The most sophisticated combination of air power the United States had deployed over hostile territory since 2003. What waited for them was not the degraded, isolated air defense network American planners had wargamed for months. Iran's integrated air defense system had been quietly upgraded, repositioned, and networked into something American intelligence had catastrophically underestimated. 14 aircraft entered Iranian airspace that night. Not all of them came back. If you've never seen American air power face a
Central Iran, March 6, 2026, 21:47 hours local time. The target package had been assembled over 11 weeks of satellite reconnaissance, signals intelligence, and human source reporting. 6 facilities. The Natanz Uranium Enrichment Complex buried 8 meters underground in hardened concrete. The Persian Military Research Compound 30 kilometers southeast of Tehran. 2 IRGC ballistic missile storage tunnels near Isfahan. And 2 radar relay stations forming the backbone of Iran's Western Air Defense Corridor. The strike package departing Al Udeid Air Base, Qatar, consisted of 6 F-35A Lightning II stealth fighters from the 34th Fighter Squadron, 4 F-15E Strike Eagles from the 335th Fighter Squadron carrying GBU-28 bunker buster bombs, each weighing 2,268 kilograms with a penetrating warhead capable of punching through 6 meters of reinforced concrete, 2 EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft from VAQ-132, and 2 E/A-18G Growlers acting as communications relay and battle management nodes. Total munitions load: 34 GBU, 31 JDAM GPS guided bombs, 8 GBU, 28 bunker busters, and 16 AGM-88 EAARGM anti-radiation missiles designed specifically to destroy enemy radar systems. American planners had assigned this mission a threat rating of medium-high. Iran's air defense network was known to include Russian-supplied S-300 PMU-2 batteries, capable of engaging targets at 195 kilometers range and 27,000 meters altitude. But satellite imagery from 72 hours prior showed only 3 of Iran's 7 known S-300 batteries in operational posture. The remaining 4 appeared to be in maintenance or transit configuration. American electronic intelligence had logged no unusual radar activity from Iranian air defense sites in the previous 18 hours. Both assessments were about to prove catastrophically wrong. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Air Defense Force had spent 14 months preparing for exactly this scenario. Their doctrine, developed after studying every American air campaign since Operation Desert Storm in 1991, was built around a single strategic insight. The United States always suppresses air defenses before committing strike aircraft, which means every active radar is a target. The solution was to keep most radars silent until American aircraft were already inside the engagement envelope, too close to evade, too committed to abort. Iran's integrated air defense system on the night of March 6th consisted of 4 operational S-300 PMU-2 batteries, not 3 as American intelligence believed, each battery carrying 12 4.8N6E3 interceptor missiles with a 195-kilometer range and a 150-kilogram proximity warhead. The 4th battery, designated Sector Zafar, had been repositioned 80 kilometers northwest of its last known location using a nighttime road march conducted entirely under electromagnetic silence. American satellites had photographed an empty hardstand and concluded the battery was offline. Sector Zafar was 140 kilometers from the American strike package's planned ingress corridor, precisely inside its maximum engagement range. Layered beneath the S-300 umbrella were 3 Bavar 373 batteries. Iran's domestically produced long-range system using Sayad 4B missiles with a 300-kilometer range and 6 Khordad 15 medium-range systems, each capable of simultaneously tracking 6 targets and engaging 4 with Sayad 2 missiles at ranges up to 75 kilometers. Every system was networked through a fiber optic command infrastructure that carried no detectable radio emissions. At 21:52, Iranian radar operators detected the strike package's EA-18G Growlers 310 kilometers out, not from active radar, but from passive receivers that simply listened to American data link transmissions without emitting a single watt. At 21:58 hours, 9 minutes before the first American bomb was scheduled to fall, Sector Zafar powered its Tombstone 96L6E acquisition radar for exactly 4 seconds, long enough to hand targeting data to every missile battery in the network, short enough that the EA-18G Growler's AN/ALQ-99 jamming pods never achieved a lock on the emission source. At 22:01 hours, lead F-35. A pilot Lieutenant Colonel Damian Cross, call sign Wraith 1, received the first warning his mission had just changed. His AN/AS-Q239 electronic warfare system, a passive sensor suite integrated across the F-35's airframe, detected a microsecond burst of X-band radar energy consistent with the S-300 PMU-2's engagement radar. It lasted 0.3 seconds, not long enough to positively identify, long enough to matter. Cross immediately broke radio silence and called the contact up to the E-3 Sentry AWACS orbiting 280 kilometers south over the Persian Gulf. The AWACS had seen nothing. Its own radar was looking for aircraft, not ground emissions. Cross's report was logged as a possible anomaly and the mission continued. The EA-18G Growlers, call signs Viper 1 and Viper 2, carried the AN/ALQ-99 tactical jamming system, a pod-mounted electronic warfare suite capable of detecting and jamming radar frequencies across 64 to 10,500 MHz simultaneously. The Growlers immediately began broad-spectrum jamming of all known S-300 radar frequencies. What they could not jam was a radar that had not yet turned on. At 22:04, the F-15E Strike Eagles dropped to 15,000 feet to begin their attack profiles toward Natanz. Each Strike Eagle carried 2 GBU-28 bunker busters on its centerline stations. The weapon specifically designed to destroy underground hardened facilities, released from minimum 10,000 feet to achieve terminal velocity penetration. F-35s fanned out ahead, their AN/APG-81 AESA radars mapping Iranian airspace and feeding targeting data to the entire strike package through the Multifunction Advanced Data Link, a frequency-hopping communication system transmitting 548 megabits per second across encrypted channels. At 22:06, 4 Iranian Khordad 15 batteries simultaneously activated their engagement radars. The EA-18G Growlers had 11 seconds to achieve jamming lock before the first Sayad 2 missiles left their rails. They achieved lock on 2 of the 4 batteries. At 22:07 hours and 34 seconds, Iran fired 24 missiles simultaneously. 16 Sayad 2S from the 4 Khordad 15 batteries, 8 48N6E3S from Sector Zafar's S-300 PMU-2. The battery American intelligence had written off as offline. The missiles came from 3 different compass headings, creating a geometric engagement envelope that the strike package's defensive maneuvering had not been planned around. Wraith Flight's F-35As broke into defensive maneuvering immediately, dispensing ALE-70 infrared decoy flares and chaff bundles at 1-second intervals while pulling 7G turns to complicate radar tracking solutions. The F-35's low observable airframe, radar cross-section of 0.001 square meters, equivalent to a steel marble, degraded the Khordad 15's engagement radar enough that 9 of the 16 Sayad 2 missiles lost tracking lock mid-flight and fell away harmlessly. The remaining 7 Sayad 2s continued tracking. Wraith 3 and Wraith 4 defeated their assigned missiles with hard maneuvering and jamming support from Viper 1. Wraith 5 took a Sayad 2 proximity detonation 14 meters off his left wing at 22:08:11. The 60-kilogram warhead's fragmentation pattern destroyed his left engine, severed 3 hydraulic lines, and rendered his fly-by-wire control system non-responsive. Wraith 5 ejected at 14,000 feet over central Iran. His locator beacon activated immediately. The S-300 PMU-2 salvo from Sector Zafar was a different equation entirely. 848N6E3 missiles traveling at Mach 6 gave the F-15E Strike Eagles, larger, slower, and carrying full bomb loads, almost no defensive options. Striker 2 was destroyed outright at 22:08:19, the missile's 150-kilogram warhead detonating within 3 meters of the cockpit. Both crew members were killed instantly. Striker 3 lost its right engine and both weapon stations to a proximity detonation and limped south toward the Persian Gulf on a single engine before crew ejected 40 kilometers inside Iranian airspace at 22:11. Striker 4 took a direct hit to the strike package commander ordered immediate abort at 22:09. The surviving 10 aircraft, 5 F-35As, 2 F-15Es, and both EA-18G Growlers, turned south at maximum military power toward the Persian Gulf. Iran fired 11 additional missiles at the retreating formation. The EA-18G Growlers jammed 7. The F-35's low observable profiles defeated 3 more. The final missile tracked Viper 2's jamming pod emissions and detonated 40 meters behind the aircraft, causing superficial damage to the tail section but no loss of flight control. All 10 surviving aircraft recovered to Al Udeid at 23:34 hours. 4 aircraft lost. 2 F-15E Strike Eagles destroyed with 3 crew members killed and 1 captured on ejection. 1 F-35, a mission killed with pilot ejected inside Iranian airspace, recovered 4 hours later by a CSA-RHH-60W Jolly Green 2 helicopter operating at the absolute edge of its 630-kilometer combat radius. 1 F-35A flew home on 1 engine with 340 fragments of Sayad-2 warhead casing embedded in its left wing structure. 0 bombs reached their targets. The Natanz enrichment complex, the Parchin compound, the Isfahan missile tunnels, all untouched. The financial accounting was stark. 4 aircraft lost at a combined replacement cost of $612 million. 0 of 8 GBU-28 bunker busters delivered. The intelligence failure that placed Sector Zafar's S-300 battery 80 kilometers from its actual position cost 3 American lives and one of the most expensive combat